Good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Bible class with Andre and Betty. Thank you all for visiting with us, and we're going into a new series of studies. We'll be studying from the book of Exodus, and the subject we'll be focusing on is Exodus is the book of redemption. And to think about redemption, we think about the finished work of Christ, but these chapters are given to us in types leading to the actual manifestation of Jesus in his earthly and redemptive ministry. To redeem something is to buy it back. It's been sold, but now someone will buy what's been sold back to its rightful place, and that is a relationship with God. When God created Adam and then Eve, God gave everything that he had created under the dominion of Adam and Eve. And they sold their perfect environment to the lies that Satan bring into the world. And so now in Exodus, God is going to give us types and shadows of what Christ will accomplish for all mankind. And so we begin in Exodus chapter 1. And at this time, Israel, the nation, is in Egypt. Verse 1, now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. So these are the first two generations after God had told Abraham in chapter 15 of Genesis that he would be a father of many nations, but that his seed would be held in captivity for 400 years, where the Egyptians would afflict the children of Israel. But God told Abraham in this nightmare that he experienced in Genesis 15 that they would be in captivity for 400 years, but in the fourth generation, God would deliver them out of Egypt. And so Jacob and his sons are the first and second generation. And as we go through, we'll see the third and the fourth generations are the ones that's being delivered under the leadership of Moses. And so now, beginning the chapter of Exodus, lets us know that this is a continuation from the book of Genesis into the historical record of Israel. And so every man came with Jacob and their households or their families. Verse 2, these are the sons that came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah; Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin; Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. Verse 5, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. Verse 6, and Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. So again, Jacob and his 12 sons died, making up the first and the second generation that God had told Abraham would happen. Verse 7, this is the third generation of the descendants of Abraham. Verse 7, and the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed or grew exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. So there were multitudes born to the sons of Jacob. Verse 8, now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. So the Pharaoh is the title of the kings of Egypt, the Pharaoh. There are different pharaohs, but it's only one office of the king, as such as in the United States, a president. There are many presidents, but they only reign one term or two terms at the most. So there arose this king of Egypt that knew not Joseph. And when the children of Israel multiplied, verse 9, and he said, this Pharaoh said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. So verse 10, come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. So we've got to strategize to keep them subdued so that they will not cause us trouble when our enemies, or they will not ally with our enemies to destroy us. And so he says, therefore, verse 11, therefore they did set over them taskmasters. The people chose taskmasters to afflict them, to afflict Israel with their burdens. They were going to give them hard labor to afflict them, and so they won't get any bright ideas. And they built, that is Israel, built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. Verse 12. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved. Egypt was grieved because of the children of Israel. And we, as a people of African descent, can identify with what the Hebrew people are going through in this world and in life. So we're going to be focusing not on others, but on our place or our relationship with God. Even though at this time Israel really did not know the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Verse 13. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel serve with rigor or with hardship or harshness. Verse 14. And they made their lives, the Egyptians made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick. in all manner or all kinds of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor or was with harshness. Verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. Verse 16. And the king said, to the midwives, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. And so this is Satan's attempt to kill the seed of the woman who points forward to Jesus. And throughout the Old Testament and in the New, up to the death, burial, and resurrection, Satan is attempting to keep Jesus from dying on the cross. He wants him dead, but not on the cross. And so verse 17 says, but the midwives feared God and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And we remember in the book of Matthew, Herod the king did the same thing after Jesus was born in Bethlehem by telling the wise men that he wanted to go where Jesus was, and he was coming, and he wanted to worship Jesus also. But his plot was to kill him because he was about 2 years old when this happened. Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have you done this thing and have saved the men children alive? Verse 19. And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, or they deliver quickly, and are delivered before the midwives come in unto them. Verse 20. Therefore God dwelt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. At first they were mighty, but upon this affliction they became very mighty. Verse 21. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses or gave them families. Now, the midwives lied to Pharaoh about why they were not killing the male children, but God honored them to give them families because they feared God, and so God gave them families. Verse 22. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive. Now, this may not sound possible or real to you that I'm going to say about the Satan and his mission to steal, kill, and destroy, to let us know that Satan is not very smart. Because if he wanted to keep the seed of the woman from coming forth, then he should have killed the women. But no, he goes after the men in our lives because his strategy is to bring him to a position of being God. But we can see through his efforts that God defeats him and has defeated him every time through and by the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And just as sure as the prophecies concerning Jesus' first coming were fulfilled completely, that the prophecies of his second coming are sure to be fulfilled. So we'll be looking at the redemption that God planned from before the foundation of the world, operating through the lives of the people, Israel, in the book of Exodus and therefore forward. So you all have a great day and a great week. Next time, we'll continue in chapter 2 of the book of Exodus. So have a great day and a great week. Bye.